Hello, Internet, and welcome back to another episode of Shaggin Ball's baseball discussion podcast, where we like to have fun and mix it up a little bit and talk about what we enjoy discussing about the sport that we all love. As always, I'm one of your four co-hosts, Jake, and I am joined by the kid, Casey.
Go M's.
The man, J-Rob.
Go Birds.
And the Iron Horse himself, Pete.
It's about time we get to talk about the greatest team in all of baseball. Let's go Yanks.
So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going off of last episode where we went over the National League over-under betting lines for the 2020 60-game season. We're going to do that for the American League this season. We really enjoyed talking about different teams, what we're looking forward to for the year, why we think maybe a team's going to underperform or overperform, and players will each go around and share a player that we're looking out for in a certain division and a pitcher. So we're going to share those and just have fun and chat about whatever comes our way, and we hope you enjoy listening. If you would like to reach out to us and maybe give us a question that you are curious about, or you just want to give a go M's to Casey, you can email us at shagginballspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow the Twitter.
And you will be treated very kindly and respectfully.
Yep, that's true.
Always.
Twitter is shagginballs PC. And then the YouTube and the Twitch are also just Shaggin Balls. So feel free, wherever platform you like to watch, listen. We do our recordings Monday nights if you want to catch the show live on Twitch. And then we're also on various podcast platforms, which you may or may not be listening to it right now.
We're also on TikTok.
Yes, we are.
TikTok. So we post cool videos and clips from the stream there.
Look forward to J-Rob's Hawaiian Punch chugging.
Yep.
Plays every time I pick it up and chug it.
Yeah, I think that's everything to cover for. Oh, did we get any emails, Casey?
No, we did not.
Check it.
I thought Pete emailed like right after the last one.
I did, yeah. We had a nice conversation.
We had a couple
We
back
had
and
a
forth.
nice conversation. All right, great. So yeah, this is the portion where we would go over those emails, tweets, however you would like. But we're gonna jump into the show. So we're gonna go and cover AL East to Central and then to West. We'll go division by division. So I'm just gonna read off what the line is, and then we'll go around and say under or over for our predictions. So first up is the New York Yankees, last year's division winner.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The
New York Yankees.
Boo!
The line for them is at 37.5. We'll go in the opposite direction. So we'll go Pete, J-Rob, Casey, and then me.
I'm going to start with the easy over.
Easy
over.
Over easy.
Go with each in my life on and under.
You're banning under?
Are you kidding me? Just wait till the other people talk.
I'm going under
You
as
guys
well.
all go change it to under. What a bunch of idiots.
I am under as well. So that's three unders and one over.
All right, I'm leading 1-0 in the AL competition.
All right. Now it's the time for the Boston Red Sox at 30.5, right at the 500 mark. Pete.
My official response is fuck the Red Sox. My unofficial is under.
That's a good response. I can vibe with
I
that.
feel like that should be reverse. Your official is under and your unofficial is.
No,
Anyways,
it's not.
my
It's not reversed.
official and unofficial is under.
I'm taking the under the sea on this one.
What'd you just swallow there, Casey?
Some jerky.
You just swallowed some jerky. It was Casey's turn, and I just see him like gulps. That's hilarious. I've got the over, so I'm the only one who's got the over for the Red Sox finishing above 500. All right, next up is the Tampa Bay Rays at 33.5. Pete?
I have them over.
I have them over as well.
I'm taking over on this one.
And it's an over sweep 4-0 for the Tampa Bay Rays, finishing over 33 games this year in the win column. Next up is the Toronto Blue Jays at 27.5 games. Pete?
I have them over. Love that young talent. Yachty, or not Yachty, god damn it, we're talking about Yachty all before and lead up to this. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Love his swing.
I got them over as well.
I have the Blue Jays actually under that.
I have them under as well. So that one's split 50-50 between us. And the last and least is the Baltimore Orioles at 20.5 games. Pete?
I'd like to reiterate, because it can't be said enough, fuck the Red Sox, but I have them under.
I have them under.
Yeah, the O's are under for me.
And that's the first under sweep for this episode as well. I have them under also. All right, this is your division, Pete. What's your first comments besides F the Red Sox and go Yanks?
Well, thanks for taking care of those for me. You know, I like to keep my cussing limited during the podcast. I was going to use them all up.
Use them all you want on the Red Sox, man. I use it up on the Dodgers.
So, I love the young talent in this division, like coming to challenge the Yankees before, we buy them in 3 to 4 years. It's just exciting. And I think there's a really good cycle right now. I think obviously I'm going to be most excited to watch the Yankees in this division.
Yeah.
Hopefully with Judge having a healthy year, hopefully Stanton can stay healthy and they just can be mashing all over the place in 60 games. But I'm so excited to watch the Blue Jays this year. I love all their young talent. It's also cool they have so many freaking sons of former major leaguers, so it's a weird nostalgia thing as well. But Vlad Guerrero Jr. is so exciting, just hitting absolute monster shots. So I think the the Red Sox are going to be trash this year. Got rid of Mookie Betts, which I love that. So it'll be exciting to watch them lose all the time. But yeah, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is probably. I'm freaking pumped to watch him. Bo Bichette, he's a beast. Should be really, really good at shortstop. So I think the O's are obviously going to be terrible. The Red Sox, I think, are going to have a pretty steep drop off this year, losing Mookie Betts and just they always have a couple of shitty years before they, have interesting upticks. JD Martinez, cough, met David Ortiz all of a sudden, just absolutely raking. That was weird. But so I think they're gonna have a down year. So I don't know that
you're not allowed
going to be the
say
strongest
that about
1 through 5.
Yankees are the same way.
I don't know. Okay, freaking Mark McGuire over there. You calm down. You started this whole thing. We're just better.
Okay, when are we going back to the 90s?
Yeah, because you started it. But so I just think I don't know if it's the strongest division 1 through 5, the AL East, but I think the Blue Jays are going to surprise people this year. With their young talent, I think they're just going to be why not us? And it's going to be a nice mentality for the Blue Jays to have. So I think the top 3 teams in this division are going to be so strong that it's makes up for the terribleness of the Orioles, who are god-awful.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, what you're saying just about the division. You said it wasn't the strongest 1 through 5. Going to last week in the NL, the divisions we've already covered, this is the highest point that we've seen, except for the Dodgers were also at 37.5. But this is definitely the low point at 20.5. So there's there's a 17 game spread in just predictions from what they predict the best and the worst. So to your point, what you're saying with the Blue Jays, if they do have a little bit of a step forward and a rise in the division, then it kind of makes the rest of that division more competitive across the board.
Which I think is super going to be exciting to. And
so did you say
the NL East will be nice too, playing the Nationals, obviously starting off versus the Nationals.
Yeah, that's the most
opening night. Yeah. Opening night, Scherzer Cole is going to be a hell of a way to get back into baseball.
True. J-Rob, what were your feelings about the predictions and stuff? Or your comments do you have?
Well, did you give who you thought was going to win the AL East?
I thought maybe we can do that. Yeah, let's do it at the end.
Yeah.
Let's keep that a little secret.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's let Casey eat his jerky. So go ahead, J-Rob.
I have the same thoughts going with Pete. I think obviously Yankees are the favorites in this division. Like 4 wins, and that's Tampa Bay. I think I put Tampa Bay over, Yankees under. So if that's the case, even if the Yankees are at 37 and Baltimore's at 34, that's 3. That's right there. But I think they're going to give Yankees obviously their best bet, or the best run for the money or whatever. And so I'm kind of rooting for them because I don't like the Yankees. Sorry, Pete, not sorry. But I'm also just excited to see their team and just how they played last year, and just for them to continue to progress, as well as with Toronto. I mean, Toronto didn't do great last year, and I don't think they're going to be amazing this year either. But they just have a lot of Vlad, and I mean, he's just one player, but I mean, he's just going to be super exciting to watch. And then just the talent and everything that they're putting together as well. It's just that will be a good team in a couple of years for sure. Maybe sooner than expected. That's what I always like to see, the teams that get better sooner than you would have thought. There's a team I was just thinking of, and I can't remember who that was, but
Astros.
The Tampa Bay Rays a couple of years ago too, in what was that? 08, 09, 07.
I think the A's are a good example too.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I always like underdogs typically, just
And that's
because
what
the Cardinals are typically underdogs.
Oh god damn, whatever garbage.
The Cubs came quick.
But I don't think the Blue Jays are going to make the playoffs this year. But I think they're going to stay in contention a lot longer than people think. I think near the end of the season, people are oh crap, the Jays have a chance.
Because they're going to be buyers. Because they showed that they're going for it in the next handful of years because of the talent they already have. But they've also put their money where their mouth is by signing Ryu this offseason and paying him $20+ million for the next 3 years. That was a win now, or in the next few seasons.
And win in the next couple of years.
So they're going to be buyers at the deadline as well. So they won't be selling too much off. They'll be trying to acquire probably controllable pieces and stuff. Anyways, all right, Casey, you done with your jerky? You ready to impart some wisdom with us?
What am I doing? Am I giving my thoughts on the AL East?
Oh my!
You can give us your thoughts on whoever. You want to just start off with Tim Anderson right now?
Go right ahead.
Oh, I'm waiting all night for that.
Do you think?
Speaking of Tim Anderson, August 13th, Iowa, we're playing the Cubs. Watch Timmy flip some bats.
Jeez.
Yeah,
AL East, huh? Man. My boy Big Maple out there pitching for the Pinstripes just gut wrenches me every time. I just vomit every time I look at him in the Pinstripes. I'm like, man. I'm actually excited to watch the Blue Jays. I like Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, the other Biggio guy. I forget his first name.
Kevin Biggio.
Kevin Biggio. That's just a fun core to watch. I had a lot of fun watching them last year, and just seeing them progress, I think it'd be pretty cool. I'm interested to see how the Yankees fare, though. I don't know. I feel like they always just run into some sort of problem. Not to knock the Yankees, because they obviously had major injury issues last year and still figured out a way to make it to the ALCS. I'll be wondering if they'll stay healthy. Just how they're going to go about, because they have so much.
The rotation's already a question.
Yeah.
To your point.
I mean,
yeah. So it's
semi-rotate.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen to see. I mean, Big Maple Man, though. I love watching that man pitch.
Let me read off my top 5 starters if we stay healthy. Garrett Cole, Tanaka, Happ, Montgomery, James Paxton, or Domingo Germán, who, by the way, before he got suspended last year in the second half, was killing it.
Why did he get suspended?
We don't, he made some
so the reason he was killing it
very
is not
poor
valid.
decisions. Very poor decisions by Domingo Germán.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate, and we don't support that. But
I was thinking more
legit starters.
You don't have Severino, and Tanaka got drilled in the face.
Yeah, but
so those are a question mark.
Already been reported as a mild concussion, so he should be fine. Obviously, unless something goes wrong. But
The mental side of that, though,
I'm feeling I'm feeling more confident in that pitching staff than I have in a very long time. And obviously Cole at the top, but like I love Tanaka, and I feel like him as our 2 starter in the playoffs instead of going against their 1. Like I don't know if there's another Strasburg. I would say is a better number 2 starter than Tanaka, but other than that, I don't know if there's another number 2 I would take over Tanaka in the playoffs this year.
Yeah. No, I don't. He's good. Yeah. I think there's probably some other names out there. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is probably Greinke. And then, but that's not even the best one. I think the one Strasburg is obviously one that's been all on our minds. But I mean, besides that, just overlooking the picks, like we had like the oversweep and undersweep prediction. The Orioles, it's hard for me. Like I looked at it, and to Pete's point in the last week's episode is just they're not going to be like acquiring anything or really trying to push like wins across the board. They're just going to be another year in their rebuild where they're collecting assets and like they just showed that they're not going to try to compete in 2020 by letting VR go to waivers, letting go of Dylan Bundy because they didn't want to pay him $5 million with arbitration. There's not much to watch for the Orioles right now, and the 20 games is so low, but I just don't see how they get over it. But I guess besides that, I was the only one who had the Red Sox over, and the reason I did is because I don't think I think the Red Sox are more of a team that's going to benefit from a shortened year, because I mean a lot of teams can catch fire, but I think like Nathan Eovaldi is a big like wild card for them. If he were to
Nathan Eovaldi is a punk ass mother.
Go for it. Let it out.
I gotta save him. I gotta save him. To
it's a Red Sox player, later. But anyways, he could have
save him to shit on the end.
He could have a hot streak again where he's like really dominant for him. Like obviously the Sale and the Betts leaving really hurts, but they still have a great collection.
And
Price wasn't great.
He wasn't, but he was also a reason they won in that playoffs as much, if not more, than Eovaldi.
Yeah.
And Eovaldi's has like that one playoff run. Other than that, he's he just has the stuff. He has the potential to get there. Yeah.
Which I like. They just also have a great collection of like position players. So they have some other okay starters, but it's nothing like great. But I still think it's over 500 for them. I think Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, Alex Verdugo, their catcher, I forget his name, Vasquez. I think there's just some solid things there. I think the bullpen is another question. That's what the question was last year, and it wasn't great. So they finished above 500. Is it a big enough hit? We'll see. But besides that, I guess we can go into... Let's go around and give our player and pitcher that we're looking forward to from the division this year. We'll go in the same order that we have been all night. Go ahead, Pete.
I'm going to be biased as well, and I'm fine with that. My player I'm looking forward to watch this year is Aaron Judge, hopefully fully healthy. An absolute beast. Should be one of his, prime years right now. Like I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he can hit 25 to 30 bombs.
That's a lot.
In a 60-game season. Like, how sick would that be? Because if he can stay healthy, that would be just sick to watch. And then Garrett Cole coming to the AL East.
Hard not to like that guy.
Shorter hair. Yeah.
That fastball is something else.
Clubhouse leader, I would say.
Let's just hope he's not a bullpen leader during the World Series next time.
Let's just say that's who I'm most excited to watch. I can't even fake it. It's just the Yankees.
It's honesty. We like that. J-Rob,
I'm gonna go both with Tampa. I'm gonna go Blake Snell.
Okay, you didn't take my
just
Are you sure he's on the team? Are you sure he's actually on that team? Because last time we did this.
Oh yeah, Wade Miley. Yes, Blake Snell is still on the Rays. That is a Tampa Bay pitcher. Cy Young 2 years back.
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm excited to watch him because he went 21-5 that year. He won Cy Young with a 1.89 ERA and a WHIP of under 1. But last year he went 6-8, and I mean I think he was injured for a good part of the year, or not a good part, but for a little bit. But his ERA was over 4. So I'm interested to see. I feel like for the Rays to have a lot of success, to surpass the Yankees or to go far into the playoffs, he has to feed back more into that Cy Young year, 2018. So excited for that. My player, this is a player also in the Rays system. He's on the 60-man roster, and that's why I went with him, or is counting this. But Wander Franco.
You son of a bitch. That was my player.
Sorry. That is 327 between, I think, single and double A last year with 43 extra base hits and 56 walks. He was second in all the minors, I think it said, with like a whiff rate of 7% or something. And so like pure hit power, just reading about it or whatever, they're talking about he's like probably the best hitter in all the organization.
He's insane.
If he makes it to the and he was only 18 last year.
Yeah, he's gonna be crazy.
He's just
so good.
If he makes it, it's gonna be super exciting.
Yeah. Number 1 prospect in all of baseball, right there. That's an amazing pick. I didn't think anyone would go for it. Good one. All right, Casey.
Well, where do I start in this division full of just everyone besides
Tim
the
Anderson's in the
Yankees?
AL Central.
I'm gonna go Ladd Jr. for my player to watch. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Ladd Jr. I like him. He's a lovable guy, just like the teddy bear that you just want to hug and hit homers with. I don't know. And then my pitcher, true to my heart, Big Maple, James Paxton. I hope that man can turn it around and do something for the god-awful Yankees. But Big Maple, I miss him. Come back to Seattle, please. I need you.
Very nice. I think I was going to go with Evaldi because I think he's like, if he goes, then the Red Sox hit their over. But I already mentioned him before. I forgot who was my pitcher was going to be. So I'll go with Tyler Glass now from the Rays. And I'm curious to see how his progression keeps going. He came out and was throwing absolutely lights out from the trade from the Pirates. The Pirates are like, hey, let's have Chris Archer, a controllable, affordable contract, and we'll give you guys Austin Meadows and Tyler Glass now, freaking all-star players for the next like 5 years. Here you go. The Rays turned them out. Like the Pirates were doing something over. That's too. I don't want to dive that deep. Tyler Glass now, love his stuff. I think he could be the best pitcher on that staff, right ahead of Charlie Morton, and then that puts Blake Snell like the 3rd best pitcher. Like I think that elite pitching staff is what that's going to lead that team, that front 3. So maybe that's the better 1-2 punch than the Yankees actually there. Wander Franco was going to be my guy. So I'll go with my backup person who is going to be a big piece for the Red Sox again and like dampening the hit of Mookie Betts. And it's going to be the guy they traded for, and Alex Verdugo. Curious how he'll do over, I guess it's not a full season, but he had good results over this time he did have in LA. He was like a 3.3 WAR player, and that was only like over a portion of the season. So curious how he continues to take steps forward in like a great lineup to hit around. So those are my guys, and now we'll go around and do our division winners real quick. Pete?
The New York Yankees.
I have the Yankees as well, unfortunately.
I have the New York Yankees.
And I have the Rays. All right. So,
Jake, wait real quick.
yeah.
How many games do you think the Rays win?
I'll go with 38. I'll give you
38.
Yeah,
Damn,
I think they're
okay.
going to destroy.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the rotation. I like they could bring up the freaking best prospect in the game if they wanted to. And I was looking at their rest of their roster, and they're all like solid, interesting pieces that they can fit around. Like everyone hits like a little bit above average. What they're missing is a like superstar offensive piece, maybe the really like build around, but I think they can kind of just work as a team as a whole. So I think they're probably better as a season team rather than like maybe it's just strictly for like a playoff. Like they have the dominant pitching to win, and I love their defense as well. Like Kevin Kiermaier is like a personal favorite of mine as well. But Tommy Pham leaving is interesting. How they'll replace him. They got they got a Japanese batter who's had like 380 plus like on base percentage. So we'll see how that translates into MLB, because if he can get on base, then that'll be great. But anyways, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and go to the AL Central. And the first team is going to be Timmy Anderson's White Sox. 31 and a half games. Pete?
I have them over.
I said over as well.
Oh boy, do I have them over.
Yeah, you do. I have them too. So that's right off the bat, we have an over sweep. The Minnesota Twins are the high prediction for the division, winning the division last year, and they are landing in at 34 and a half.
I have them over.
I said under.
I have them over.
I have them under. So that one's split down the middle. Well, I think a little bit of a surprise there. All right. Next is the last place finisher is the Detroit Tigers from the AL Central, and they are one game above the Orioles, and it's 21 and a half.
Under.
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 I really tried to find a way to get the over, but I couldn't do it. That position player side is too weak. It's an under for me as well. That's another under sweep. Now, moving on to the Kansas City Royals, coming in at 24 and a half.
I have them under.
I put them over.
I put them under.
I put them under also. So that's 3-1 under. And last but not least is the Cleveland Indians at 33 and a half games.
I had them over.
Over as well.
I have the Indians over. Or no, under, excuse me. I am under.
Casey does have them under. And I have them over. That's a 3-1 over. All right. Casey, let's lead off with you. You can go into your Timmy Anderson or surprise us all and talk about the Detroit Tigers.
My man, Tim Anderson, is going to lead his ball club to a wild card spot. They're not going to beat the Twins this year, but next year, oh my God, you better watch out. Tim Anderson. And if you're all wondering, if you watch on August 13th, they're playing Iowa at the Field of Dreams, and Tim Anderson's going to bat flip all over the Cardinals. And I can't wait for it. I'm there for it. Tim Anderson will win an MVP before he ends his career. Hot take. You heard it here first on Shaggin' Balls.
Bet.
I'll take that bet. Throw out whatever you want, Casey.
He won't even win team MVP in his career.
Wow. That's
Wait till he's hitting. Wait till him and the Padres meet up in the World Series, and Tim Anderson bat flips the shit over that game-winning home run over the Padres, and just rages in the city of Chicago. And your poor Padres are just out there crying.
It's all right. We won't. At least it's not the M's in last place in the AL West.
Yeah, no, the M's aren't going anywhere.
J-Rob, what do you like? What stood out to you from the AL Central? Maybe the votings or just teams that you want to kind of highlight.
I think. I mean, well, not to any surprise, but I was the only one to go over on the Kansas City Royals. I just think the reason I put them over, and is honestly this is a tough one for me. Not like hard, but just there's a lot of thinking that I put into this one, or just like debating back and forth on teams, who's over, who's under. Just with like how even I feel almost the NL Central is and the AL Central. Obviously, there's a few teams that aren't great at all, but it's not like you don't have the Yankees or the Dodgers in there, and so there's not any like superstar team, and so I feel like it's going to be pretty even. Obviously, with teams being better, both like the clear teams like the Indians and the Twins there. And then, I mean, it's honestly, I think between three teams in the NL Central or even four. So that's why I put the Royals over, just because I feel like they'll or they'll finish a little bit closer to 500, still under 500. But I think the Indians are going to win big in this division. Not like huge, ridiculous margin, but I think 3 or 4 games, which I think is big in a 60-game season. I don't know. I just like their combo of Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor. And just, I don't know. I feel like they're the strongest in that division.
So what is it from the Royals that kind of like puts you over the edge to like, is it something from their team that you like their pitching or the position players? What like kind of, I think when I was looking over it, what stuck out to me was like kind of the lack of like rotation, but I think Perez had a big injury, if I'm not mistaken, and might be missing a good chunk of the season, if not like all of it. That's what caused me to go under.
I think honestly, it wasn't even as much as like what the Royals have as to like what the division is as a whole. I think the Twins are going to be good. I think the Indians are going to be good. But I think Kansas City is good enough. They're not like obviously amazing, but I think they're good enough to take or like to beat Tigers in that series. And I feel like they'll put up a good fight against Tim Anderson and his team. And I think they'll take a surprise couple versus the Indians and Twins.
That's fair. I mean, it's not like your over-unders are like totally off board. You have like a 3 over and 2 under, which is like pretty much the norm. It goes either way. Pete, what about you?
I thought it was interesting because I remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about like, we think it could be really close this year because there's only 60 games, so there's not like build a huge difference. But then like J-Rob was saying, if you have 124.5 wins, you have like 23 wins, and then we have a couple of overs on the Twins who would have then 35 wins. So that's like a 12, 13 game difference in just 60 games. Like,
That's
so
huge.
It's funny when we actually got down to thinking about the teams, like to win 12, 13 more games in 60, like that would be. So I think it's funny that looking at the teams we had different than when we were just like kind of talking before we knew this season was coming. Yeah. But like, I kind of disagree with what J-Rob was saying, or it's like, I think there's, like you said, there's no great teams in the division, but there's so many solid teams in both divisions. Like you don't have the Dodgers or the Yankees, but like you aren't playing the Orioles to beat up on. Like, so I think it's going to be, I mean, the Tigers are obviously ass, but other than that, like you're going to have so many good teams that like if you go, let's say you go 2-1 versus all, or 1-2 versus all of them, then like all of a sudden those losses add up pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing here, just to what Pete was saying, is how he said there wasn't really a like a Dodgers or a Yankees in the division, but like the finishing, if you were just looking at pure records and nothing else, you didn't know any other thing, you would assume that the Twins were in the same class as the Yankees and Dodgers were because they finished over 100 games this season. But yet we were split on them 50-50 between the four of us. And I find that very interesting for us. I don't like, it's not like 34.5 is an obscene like amount of wins. Like 37 is where the Yankees and Dodgers at, and they weren't within 3 games of that prediction. And they added Josh Donaldson, like they added talent. They added Kenta Maeda to the pitching staff. But I think for me, the reason why I hit the under is just, I think one of the big questions is what ball are we going to be getting in 2020? We had a very, very juiced ball. I think a lot of players were hitting like the high, like percentiles of like chances of having a good season, and I felt like a lot of those lined up for them to have like the offensive season collectively that they did. But I just don't like that rotation all that much. Like I think Barrios is a good pitcher, but I don't think he's an ace. Like he has to be the ace because that's what they have around him. Odorizzi's a good pitcher, but that like after that it's pretty lackluster for me. And that's why I went the under. I think overall, though, through all these over-unders, the thing that I feel least confident overall from any team is bullpen. Like, I don't know bullpens. I don't know if it's a strength for the team or a weakness for the team, or like the talent that's in the farm system that could come up and be impactful and then is like their ace out of the bullpen and they have a couple aces. Like, that to me is just like the unknown and could be a very big reason as to why a team succeeds and like secures wins rather than gives them away and loses some closer games. So that's kind of what stuck out for me. Let's go ahead and if there's no other additional thoughts, we can just get into our players and pitchers right away. All right, let's do it. Casey, go ahead.
Damn it. You messed up my joke.
Oh, yeah. Pete, go for it.
Well,
I am going to choose the shortstop from the Chicago White Sox. My boy, Timothy Anderson. I'm really interested to see if he can go back-to-back batting titles. Maybe keep the bat in his hand this year after he gets a hit or two. You know, show some respect to the game. Play by the unwritten rules. Just do everything we expect great baseball players to do.
Will he get more than 10 walks?
You know?
He got like 15 last year.
Can he be the team MVP for once?
All right, who's your pitcher?
I'm just kidding. My actual player, I just wanted to piss off Casey. My actual player, Francisco Lindor.
Great, great player.
Don't really need to explain much. Just a great player. My pitcher, I don't like the pitchers. And when I was looking over them in this division, they're very lackluster. Very lackluster. So my pick, just because he was such a dominant pitcher a couple of years ago, is Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah,
he's in the White Sox right now. So like, just seeing him battling when he's got such electric stuff that is, if he can get it back and stuff, they would help out that team so much. So that's what I'm interested to see.
Yeah, for sure. I like those ones. I think Keuchel will be a big piece for if the White Sox are able to succeed this year. Let's go Casey, then J-Rob.
I don't know if you heard George in the background, but he was definitely saying he wanted Tim Anderson.
Yeah,
Tim Anderson!
He said, Timmy.
Oh
Timmy.
my hell. You boys do not understand how hype Tim Anderson is. Oh my goodness. I mean, if Francisco
Casey
Lindor,
does
I'll
run
give
the
it to
Timmy
him.
Anderson fan page on Twitter, by the way.
If Francisco Lindor wasn't in the AL Central, boy, that's the best shortstop in that division. My man can rake. My man can fill. He throws that bat. He just Jorge Blanco's a piece of shit.
Alberto Mondesi.
He just throws that bat. Jake, you can just go off the podcast now. You're going to disrespect Tim Anderson like that. Tim Anderson, my man. He's going to win MVP. You heard it first on Shagging Balls. And my pitcher is Mike Clevenger. I think he's going to have a solid season this year.
What the freak? You were just talking about him being a reliever for the Padres. You don't get Mike Clevenger.
I just took him, sorry.
That's dumb. You guys are taking my guys. I'm going first next time. I'm just kidding. Actually. J-Rob.
Oh, Casey's a douche because my pitcher was going to be Mike Clevenger.
I should have gone first. He's by far the best pitcher in that division.
There's not a lot of good pitchers.
He's so good. I love watching Clevenger. I watched 2 starts from him this week. I love watching him.
I love his energy and how he can just get into the game or whatever and just get super pumped after a strikeout sometimes, things like that. I mean, you get that from a lot of guys, but not all of them.
No.
But here's my pick. And I kind of did a duel, and I touched on it earlier for who my players would be, and it was just Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor. Obviously, all these players from the Indians, and I don't know. I'm rooting for the Indians in that division, or I think they're going to be the best team in that division. That's where I had the Twins under and then them over, Indians over, and so I don't know. I just think that's going to be the most exciting. That's the most exciting team I'm looking to watch. So pitcher, batters from there. That's me.
Awesome. For me, Clevenger was my guy. But guy number 2 would probably be Casey Mize of the Tigers. If he gets a chance to come up this year, he was the number 1 overall pick from the Tigers. And so really curious if he's able to get a chance. I think it'll be later. Maybe he gets like 5 starts or whatever it is to keep not use like a year of service, to like Pete's main point from last episode. So like the rotation from the Tigers have some solid pitchers. They're not like incredible pitchers. So I'm interested to see Casey Mize if he gets a chance and to see his stuff versus major league hitters as the number 1 overall pick. So I'll go with that guy. And then my player is going to be Luis Robert. He is the top prospect for the Chicago White Sox. He's a center fielder, offensive, defensively, like 5-tool player. He's very, very exciting. Like him and Wander Franco are like players I'm very, very, very eager to watch. Luis Robert is a Cuban player, and weirdly enough, like that White Sox team has an interesting collection of like Cuban players. Like they also have Jose Abreu, they have Yohan Moncada, Luis Robert. There's a Yasmani Grandal. Like they have like this weird collection of like this like Cuba club, and like they just have a heavy Latin presence on position players. They also have Eloy Jimenez, who I'm very excited to see his offensive season going forward. Like he just gets to pick the brain of Edwin Encarnacion, who's now on that team. Nomar Mazara, another Dominican player. Like Tim Anderson is like the only like American guy, except for the second baseman, who I'm also excited
to represent. Tim
Nick Madrigal. I don't know how to say his name, but like he's projected to win like multiple batting titles. So he's probably going to be like what Casey talks about Tim Anderson. He might actually be that. So like I'm excited to see Luis Robert in that lineup. They have a very high like potential like output rate, and that is very exciting to me because I like things that like are going to happen and you can see kind of coming before like the media is like, oh wow, look at this team, they're incredible. Like, so I think Luis Robert in his rookie year will be really interesting, seeing him getting challenged with major league fastballs and just pumping them out. So those are my guys. Let's go over our division winners. Go ahead, Casey.
Boy, Tim Anderson's White Sox. Tim Anderson puts him over the top, takes him to the playoffs.
Great.
Good God.
I have the Indians.
I have the Twins.
And I have the White Sox for all the reasons that Casey stated is the exact opposite. No, for me, for the White Sox, I think the reason why they'll win is I was going over the team. I just listed how I think their position, like front, is really impressive, but it's the rotation that like I was skeptical about. But when I went over it, I was just like, okay, Giolito's a pretty good frontline person. And then they still have Michael Kopech, who he might not be a starter. I don't know, first year coming back, but that guy's got high velo, absolutely filthy stuff. They have a collection of other arms that are like close to being in the major league team, but then they shored up the rotation. They're not asking like Dallas Keuchel to be like the ace, but if he's that veteran presence like he was for the Braves the year before, like that's a good arm to put out there every 5th day. Gio Gonzalez will slide into like the 5th spot. Like I like the pieces that they have for the rotational side, and that's why I was like, okay, I can take a shot with the White Sox. So yeah, that's my thoughts kind of just on that prediction. I like the Indians pick. I think they have like the best front end rotation in the division with Mike Clevenger, Justin Bieber. Carlos Carrasco, I think, is like the question mark for me. If he comes back and is great like he was in 2 years ago before he had leukemia and stuff, that would be a big boost for that team. And it would be a great front three to be able to run with Lindor, Ramirez, the players that J-Rob's mentioned, along with Franmil Reyes, if he can provide power, along with Carlos Santana having another good offensive year. That team is also good. I think it'll be an interesting race with those three. All right, now we're going to move on to our last division, the AL West. We'll go ahead and go through the teams, but this time we'll go same order. That's fine. The Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles or whatever. 31 and a half games.
Wow. I have them over.
J-Rob?
I have them over as well.
I have them over.
I have them under. The next team is the Oakland Athletics at 33.5 games.
Over.
I have them over as well.
I have them over.
And it's the first oversweep for the AL West. I have them over also. And next up is the Texas Rangers opening up a brand new ballpark this year at 20.5 games.
28.5.
28.5, thank you. Yeah, 28.5.
Under.
What do you say, Pete?
I have them under.
I have them under as well.
I have them under.
And I have them under. So first undersweep. Yep, exactly. And now I got a hashtag true to the blue for anybody who doesn't understand that. That's fine. We'll just go ahead and move forward at 24.5 wins.
Under.
I have them under as well.
Oh boy, those M's are flying over this year, baby. True to the blue.
In case anyone doesn't know, Casey's a fake M's fan because he won't have any confidence in his team and bet anything for them or believe in their actual chances of winning, even in this crazy year that's unpredictable.
I wish I could buy wins.
Hashtag fake fan.
I wish Jeter would just give me Giancarlo, just gift him to me for nothing.
I don't even care about Giancarlo. I don't need him. He's
Yeah,
hurt.
just hurt your players.
He's just staring down pitches in the middle of the playoffs, right down the.
All right, Jake, what do you have as a
Jake, I think it's your turn.
Under. And now the team that nobody really cares to talk about is the Houston Astros at 35.5 wins.
I have them over.
I have them under.
I have them under.
And I have them over. All right, and that's our quick over-unders for the AL West. I think J-Rob's the only one who hasn't opened up a discussion, so I'll open up the floor to him.
All righty, ladies and gents, here we are. Best speaker. In this division, I think there's a lot of excitement in this division, I think, just because I think there's going to be a lot of good competition minus the bottom two teams. So just top half. But Angels, A's, Astros, I think honestly it's going to be hard fought. All those teams, I mean, Angels are at the bottom, but they're all within 4 games of each other. I think the Angels do really well, just with all their pieces and everything. But I'm kind of rooting for the Angels. I obviously don't like the Astros. I don't think anyone does right now this year. They still have a really good team, and they still have a really good pitcher in Zach Greinke to lead it off. They lost Cole, obviously. But my interesting thing, I always, from the AL West, the surprise to me, and I don't know how they do it year after year, not that they're really good year after year, but the Oakland A's, they just always honestly, maybe just because I don't pay attention to the AL West as much, but they always seem to come out of nowhere, kind of, or like they don't have any necessarily like huge studs, or I mean, they're obviously getting better players now, but I don't know. They just seem to pull it together somehow and then make a good run into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete.
I mean, obviously everyone hates the Houston Astros. Garbage organization, almost as bad as the St. Louis Cardinals. But like J-Rob said, they're like still a really good team. And so I think it'll be, because I think the players are going to have a whole lot of FU mindsets. Like, you guys think we have to do this to be better? And like, so I think they're going to come out so motivated. And like,
what's going to be funny though is if they try to come out like that, but they really did need to be like that to be better. And so they suck.
That would be, but I think too, like losing Cole, I think hurts a lot. And now Verlander's 37. Greinke is 36. Like, those are older pitchers. So, you know, without having their normal routine they're used to, it'll be interesting to see if that hurts them or helps them, because they can just go full all out for 60 games rather than trying to pace themselves. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that affects them. Then obviously the Anaheim Angels have the best player in baseball. which is, super exciting. They haven't had the best team around him, but I think this year they're making the playoffs. That's my prediction. And I think that's going to be dope to see. Mike Trout, obviously, their pitching, I definitely still think needs some work. But Ohtani, I believe in as a pitcher. I'm excited to see him pitch.
Me too.
And, he should be healthy both sides of the plate, both sides of the plate, pitching and hitting. And so I think that's going to boost them a lot. And adding Rendon to the team, like seeing your teams going for it, they believe in you, I think can help them as well. And then Mike Trout, I know is the best player in baseball, and I think he's just going to come out and kill it. And that's just, so I think this is the year the Angels make the playoffs, and we get to see Mike Trout in playoff contention, and that's going to be super exciting to watch.
One thing to add super quick, Pete, just because you brought up Mike Trout, my sweet mother, Debbie Cakes. I was actually talking to her on the phone earlier today while shopping at Walmart. Sponsor us, Walmart.
Sponsor us, Debbie Cakes.
She read something, or she's just like looking at like baseball things or whatever. I'm St. Louis town, baseball town. But anyways, all that aside, putting that aside, my mom was reading how, because Mike Trout's wife is pregnant, and I'm pretty sure the baby is due in August. So like what she was just saying and everything is that, and when I looked into like Trout, obviously still planning on playing and everything right now, but because his wife is pregnant with a baby on the way and everything, he's almost like hesitant because he obviously wants to be safe and obviously nothing to go wrong with that or to happen there. So I'm just curious to see how many games he takes off and then like what precautions or things he takes like just with that and everything. But that's just a side note I wanted to throw in so I didn't forget.
Yeah, big true. All right, Casey, tell us about the Mariners. Evan White, J.P. Crawford, Daniel Vogelbach, Justin Dunn, Justice Sheffield.
Man, you're just laying nothing all
Shed
at this point.
Kyle
Anyone
Seager.
listening to the podcast, fast forward about 5 minutes.
Okay, look,
Not even that long.
I'm gonna be real with you guys, Cap. I'm gonna be real with you guys. The Mariners, as you may not follow them like I follow them. You're like, oh wow, who's this Evan White guy? Well, he's the only. Okay, just go on. I'm done. Go ahead, Jake.
What?
AC talk.
All right, do you got anything
All I'm
about
gonna say is watch out.
non-M's that you want to say?
Yeah, I think this is the year obviously I'm taking the M's to win the division, but I think this is the year the Angels actually make a push for the playoffs and actually have steam heading into the playoffs. I think if you keep Ohtani healthy, adding Rendon's huge. I want to see Mike Trout win in his prime. So I think this is the year that the Angels do it. I think the Astros are going to be exposed now of how they can't really cheat now because you're in a quiet stadium and you can't really use trash cans you might even hear a buzzer. Who knows? And he got called out. But Correa is still going to be a douche and try to defend it, even though the commissioner said he cheated. But whatever. Shout out Ken Rosenthal for exposing him. Now to the real topic, the Mariners.
Yeah.
Oh boy, where do I start? J.P. Crawford, love the dude to death. I am pumped. Kelnick's playing. Who else is playing? Fraley's gonna play, I think. I was looking at the roster, projected lineups, and this kind of breaks my heart because D. Gordon isn't in the starting second base slot, which rip to D. Gordon, but Shed Long's pretty good. I like Shed Long. I don't know, man. I'm just excited to see our young guys out there. See Justice Sheffield, Justice Dunn. I like Marco Gonzalez a lot, former Cardinal. Yeah, I think we're not going to do much this year, but I think we'll shock some people with how many wins we actually get.
All right. Let's go. Let's go with the players and pitchers and go into a quick conversation about that.
Do you not have comments on the division?
I think the Astros are still probably going to be very good. Their collection of players and talent is just exceptional. It's unfortunate, because of what they have done, but that I just there's not much weaknesses throughout that lineup still. They don't have that
through it, and it's impressive.
Yeah, they're not a lot of, I don't know how much better it made every single one of them, but it's unrelenting still with high upside talent in Bregman, Correa, Altuve, Springer. It's just like kind of gross still. So that's the Astros. I think will still be pretty good, and I like the Cole hurts, but I think them trying to mitigate the damage with Greinke helps a little bit. But then I think McCullers coming back is like a big wild card for them and hitting this over. I think McCullers is a player to watch for them. And seeing how healthy he is coming back from Tommy John and just how much he's able to like maybe utilize his fastball locations, and then it plays off of it with his curveballs incredibly well, because his curveballs is one of the nastier pitches in all of baseball. But I guess I should talk about my Angels one, because I'm the only one who had the under on that. I think the AL West is like the weakest division in all of baseball going through all of this. I really wanted to put the Rangers over. I really wanted to put the Angels over. But looking through, like, they're the exact opposite of each other. I think the Rangers and like the questions of Gallo and him testing positive for coronavirus and slowing him down and being like the only real productful player offensively for them hurts, because their top three is very fun in Mike Minor, Corey Kluber, and Lance Lynn, who've had great years. And will they all hit? Then like they have one of the better rotations on front three to go out and try to win like every other series. But that collection of position players is just underwhelming. It's really underwhelming right now. If they had they went and got the Rendon for this year, that would have been great. Which I'm expecting to see in like the next 1 or 2 years, them to go get a big name. But the Angels, I just can't get over that pitching, and they don't have anything coming either to help with it, and they don't have anything to like move to go on from it. I think Ohtani, if he pitches like he's able to, and how many innings is that going to be? How many games does he really impact when he's on the bump? That they need that very, very, very badly. And I don't like that they're leaning on him that heavily, because Dylan Bundy and Julio Teheran are your top two in that rotation. And they're really like 3, 4, 5 guys, not 1, 2. So that's just too much for me to buy in for just Trout. And there's just other players who have to have a bounce back. I love the talent. Trout and Rendon are spectacular players to go see, but as a team overall, it's very underwhelming for me. So we've seen him try to carry him as much as he can, but he hasn't in the past. So I think it's just going to be a very similar story, just with another superstar next to him. All right, let's go into players and pitchers. J-Rob, I think you're the only one who hasn't gone first.
Yeah, I'll go. Player, Marcus Semien. I think he's really good. He's super tough out. I think he's going to be a big factor for the A's and just what they do this year. Batted 285 last year, 369 OPS, 33 bombs, 92 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. I think he's good.
Top 3 MVP, Greinke, I think, too.
I mean, we touched on. I can't remember for sure, but wouldn't surprise me. Then Zach Greinke. I think he's just a big role. I just want to see. I hate saying that just because, again, hate the Astros, but I just want to see what the Astros do. And then, I mean, he's on that side of it, like the pitching side. I mean, he's kind of the face of it now. And so I just am curious to see how the team reacts as a whole, but just what kind of happens with the team and then where that goes.
Yeah, he's a big one. Pete.
I'm going to continue my theme of loving greatness and pick Mike Trout as my player. Pretty self-explanatory.
Everybody watch that man.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. I'm obviously a huge LeBron James fan. For anyone that knows me, like.
Oh, real quick. J-Rob just left the set. Do we think it's a deuce, or do we think it's a piss?
Deuce. He's going to be gone for a minute.
All right, that's what it was last
time.
time.
For a minute.
All right.
He's Baker Mayfielding right now. But yeah, so appreciating greatness when you have it, I think, is just a better way to watch sports rather than like hating on it. Oh, he's not as good as
Yeah, picking out. Yeah.
Yeah. So watch Mike Trout. That's just great life in general advice. Mike Trout. Also, I'm kind of shocked J-Rob didn't do this. And if someone had picked Mike Trout, I was going to pick Albert Pujols. I love watching fading legends just,
collect
using
milestones.
Milestones, and also like having to rely way more on their intelligence and like thinking the sport to try to still hang on compared to like when they were just so athletically dominant that it's like they just show up, dominate. So I enjoy watching that as well. So Pujols was my secondary pick. Pitcher, Ohtani. I think in the limited amount we've seen him obviously pitching in Major League Baseball, he had a couple highlights and just like, oh, he has the stuff. And, over in Japan, he's like, I think he has the stuff to be a number one pitcher.
Yeah.
And if he does do that, that helps the Angels to such a high level. I mean, obviously they still need more pitching, but like he has the stuff to be number one pitcher. So if he comes out and he's a number one pitcher, that like just helps the Angels. And I don't know if I'm wishing for the Angels to be in contention more than like using my brain to be like, oh, they're going to be in contention. But it's like, I just want to see that.
I think Otani's the right person to highlight for that, for the pitching side. Like when he came over, it was the hitting that was the question. Like coming through spring training, all the scouts and stuff were like, that bat needs to develop. It's not ready for major league hitting. But now he's gone and shown that he actually can hit. And then we've kind of forgot, like, he's really the arm.
His pitching was guaranteed at the beginning.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and he showed in his very limited time, like he has the stuff to pitch at the major league level.
Absolutely,
without a doubt.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, Casey, you want to give us your Mariners and then your AL West guys?
Well, funny you ask, because my AL West guys actually are Mariners. Player I'm ready to watch is J.P. Crawford. I believe in J.P. Crawford like no one else's business. I wasn't a huge fan of Gene Segura the year prior. I just was kind of underwhelmed. I know he was an all-star in 2018, but I just wasn't impressed by him. I just feel like, I don't know, I didn't love Gene Segura on the team. I think J.P. Crawford fits our system a lot more. I think he's kind of buying into Scott Service's like mentality of what he wants, what I think is eventually going to thrive. I mean, he kind of struggled a little bit last year, but I think it's just because with experience, the Mariners are so young. I think it's what's going to happen with anyone on that team. It's just besides maybe like Mitch Haniger if he's healthy, D. Gordon, or like Daniel Vogelbach, Kyle Seager. The team is just so young. But they're a lot of fun to watch. I mean, if you guys remember that throw last year he had, I think it was against the Tigers, when he just had that unreal like mid-air cross-body throw to gun that guy out at first. I thought that was pretty sweet. Just a lot of like, he's just fun to watch defensively, and like he has a pretty good swing from the left side, so I'm excited to watch him. And then my pitcher, I really want to see Justice Sheffield kind of turn it on. He kind of underwhelmed last year, but that's expected. I mean, like I said, with the Mariners club, you're not really expecting much at this point. You're just kind of expecting to just show up and play. So to me, I want to see him just have a good year. Like, I'm not asking for like, I don't know what's realistic, like 10 wins or something like that for these pitchers, maybe more. I don't know. I'm just asking for like to go out there, just showcase your heat.
They're probably going to get about 12 starts.
Yeah, 10 wins is high.
So 10 wins is insane.
Yeah, so like, I just want to see him just showcase some stuff, like just show that he can handle it and like eat up innings. Like, I don't care if you get rocked. I want to see you eat up innings. I want to see you go 6 or 7 innings each start, like prove that you can handle the workload. Like, you just didn't really do much last year and kind of underperformed a little bit. I mean, granted, like the Mariners were changed identities twice in the same season, so I don't know. I'm excited to watch the young guys. I mean, I know it's gonna be hard watching the losses pile up, but I think we have a lot of bright talent and like a lot of young talent that's up and coming, like with Kelenic, Evan White, J.P. Crawford, Shed Long. Like, we just have a lot of guys that I'm excited to watch and see develop and almost become like that farm system, like what you've become accustomed, Pete, with like that core 4 with like Jeter, Posada, Rivera, Pettit. Like, that's kind of like, this is kind of like my core 4 is like Shed Long, J.P. Crawford, Evan White, like Kelenic. Like, these are
no.
It's the Mariners version. It's the Mariners version of it. Like, that's like They're not going to be as great, obviously.
The Mariners shit for. You don't get to call them the core four.
I mean, only one of them's going to be a Hall, or I guess two of them are Hall of Famers. The other two are just, decent. But anyway.
Okay, Hall of Famers, you mean first ballot, literally one vote missed between the two of them, first ballot Hall of Famers.
But I mean, that's still one vote that you didn't get, so.
I like the JP Crawford pick.
Sorry, officer. I wasn't speeding. I was only going 26 miles in this 25. You're one off, Pete. Sorry.
The JP Crawford pick's interesting. I like it because he has the glove to play the shortstop position, but he needs the at bats and to really grow and develop and be able to adjust major league pitching. And the question is, can he? And it will be fun to see if he can, because if he can, then he's a great shortstop in the majors, and will be a nice piece for the Mariners to have going forward. So I like that pick a lot as well. For me, the pitcher to watch is Jesus Luzardo on the Oakland Athletics. He's probably going. He's amazing. His stuff is absolutely filthy. If you can remember him as a reliever for the Oakland Athletics last year, he was in the wild card game. If you don't know who he is, go look it up on YouTube. His stuff is gross. Slings it from the left side. He has a plus fastball and a plus slider. The combination is going to tear people apart. I think he has a big advantage of being a rookie and not being scouted 100%. And I think the window for people to adjust is a lot smaller with the 60-game season. So he might have that initial surge of dominance and not really have to deal with the adjustment period because of the shortened year of only having maybe 12 starts. So I really am looking forward to seeing what he can do on the bump. And then my player to watch, it's kind of following the same theme I've had for position players. And I guess, position players. It's another prospect, probably the best prospect coming up for the division. And that's Joe Adell, the first legit top-end tier talent that the Angels have had in their system since Mike Trout graduated from the system, besides Ohtani signing him. But that was not really a development. It was just more of an acquisition. So Joe Adell, does he come up 2020? And what is he able to offer the Angels? And how will he impact the AL West race as a whole? Because I've gone and seen him play for the AAA team. And he didn't have any hit results and stuff, but you can see how athletically he stands out over the rest of the field and competition. So he's one of those really high athletic, natural gifted athletes. And how well can he translate that into his baseball skills at the plate, in the field, running the bases, stealing bags? Because if he is another plus tool for them to have this year, maybe it's not this year, maybe it's going forward, 2021, 2022 is when he maybe starts to hit a stride for them. But if he hits while Rendon and Trout are having peak years, that's a very scary three guys to have in the lineup every day. So Joe Adell's the guy for me, for your prospect to look out for the ALS. Very exciting player, and I'm a big fan, hoping he has a big presence for the Angels. All right, let's go to division winners. Go ahead, J-Rob. You're muted.
Thank you. Never took myself off of that. So my division winner, I have the Angels.
Casey.
Go M's, baby.
Oh my God.
Homer through and through, baby. Bleeds blue. All right, Pete.
Astros. Also, Casey's a fake fan. Make the bet, Casey.
I have the Oakland Athletics. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss from the AL West before we do wildcard predictions?
I'd just like to tell J-Rob about how I talked about Albert Pujols, because I'm a real baseball fan, and he's,
Yeah, he did.
He did not even mention the best Cardinal of all time.
What do you say about Albert Pujols?
Is that a Yankee logo on your flag, J-Rob?
I was going to point that out to him after the cast. You got a Yankee
Wait,
fan
where?
up there, baby.
Other side.
Oh wow! Look at Braden.
Braden snuck it in, baby.
Let's go, Yankees! Title 28. Title 28.
He's not even watching right now. I don't think so.
Oh, that's going on TikTok.
It's not.
That's going on
That's
TikTok.
no, it's not.
It's literally paper.
It's a pretty good job.
There you go.
Let's go into our wild cards. Let's go ahead and get into those, and then we can give the rest of the playoff predictions in and kind of wrap this episode. We're running a bit longer than last time. Casey, I love to hear who your wild card choices are.
Oh man, I got the Twins and the Angels.
Not from the AL East. All right. Pete.
I have the Angels and the Rays.
J-Rob.
The Astros in the race.
I have the Trash Cans and the Yankees. Casey, you want to tell us who your NL pennant and AL pennant are? Your World Series matchup?
Ooh, World Series matchup. Battle of the Blues, may I add.
Oh,
Dodger blue
God.
and true to the
Casey,
blue.
you can't put this out. You cannot put this out in the world if you're
My
not confident
M's
enough to bet.
Are going to take it to the Dodgers in the World Series.
Don't be
Sorry,
fake,
Linda, if you're
Casey.
watching this or listening to this. Sorry, Linda. Sorry, Bailey. Sorry, whoever's a Dodger fan.
Don't be
The
fake.
M's are going to...
Don't be
They're
fake,
gonna beat you
Casey.
there.
Don't
We're
be
not
fake.
sponsored by lynda.com. Don't give them a shout out. Pete, who's your World Series matchup?
I am going predictable. Dodgers, Yankees. Yankees are winning the series. Very competitive. 6 games.
Nice. I'll have J-Rob close it out. I like unknowns, randomness. So I went with the Diamondbacks for the National League pennant. And then the AL pennant, I went with the A's as well. That's my World Series matchup. J-Rob, what about you?
I did some underdogs for the AL. I went for the Rays. I feel like they're going to sneak in there, just take it all, or just like take the AL. And then NL just went with the only true team in the league. Not the only true team. M's and Padres are
It's
pretty
weird.
true. Yankees
It's weird
fan,
how
but
you guys talk shit
anyway,
on the
so
internet
continuing with
like
my
you believe in your
time
teams.
and my time to comment and everything, I'm going to go with that team's the Cardinals.
It's really weird you guys talk shit on the
Jake.
internet
No, back to you,
pretending
Jake.
like
Back to you, Jake. Jake, back to you.
pretending like you
Or
believe
Casey.
in your team.
I like how your comment said true because I am true to the blue. I'm glad you pointed that out.
I'm true to the red.
Apparently you're
I'm
not.
true to the blue in hockey.
It's weird you guys both put out fake shit on the internet.
How's mine
Won't-
fake?
won't back
Cardinals
it
are
up.
number 9
Jake, we have winning the World Series, Jake.
I have the
You win the World Series,
Padres
Jake.
winning the World Series. I'm covering my bases. I'm keeping my options open. No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously I'm gonna go with the A's and their young pitching trio and just dominates the league with Matt Olson and Matt Chapman, Simeon, Ramon Laureano, maybe Austin Allen, sneaky pop from the catcher position. I like what they can do.
I have the M's winning the World Series against the Dodgers.
You are
7 games, of course.
so fake.
Casey, who do you have winning out of the Dodgers and Mariners this year in 2020?
I have the Mariners.
Okay, this team from Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Not Tacoma. Not Tacoma. Seattle.
Yeah, they're probably better. Anyways, Pete, did you say
In
who
the
you?
World Series?
Yeah, the winning.
Yeah,
it.
I
You already
said
said
it
it.
already.
Yeah, okay.
Said the Yankees in
And
6.
J-Rob, you said it too?
I will put my
I
neck
don't know.
tattoo
I'll say
on
it
the
again, though.
line
Cardinals.
on like some fake fans talk fake shit on the internet. If anybody wants to hit up Casey or J-Rob, let them know how you feel about their fake fandom. That they
Pete,
won't step up
sit
to
your
the plate.
little dumpling ass down and pipe down over there.
Weird, we got some fake fans.
What was I gonna say? I have no idea what I was about to say. Yeah, you heard it here first. We have a Mariner finish, a Cardinal finish, a Yankee finish, and then an A's finish, I guess. Who knows?
I'm the only.
We need to
NL
make
finisher.
an actual consequence for this, for these idiots speaking things they don't believe.
I do believe the Cardinals can win. 100%.
Oh, this is the question that came to my mind.
I don't-
What are the percent chance that we'll actually have a World Series in 2020? Just a percentage.
Interesting.
Like
40%.
50%, 70%, 100%. Casey, and we'll go around J Rob, Pete.
If I'm being honest, I think we have like a 40%. I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
I say 39%.
Oh my god.
I said 41st in case he stole my number. So
I honestly was gonna say 40% as well. So I'll say 30 to 40%. Like I
said 38.
don't
I
think
was gonna say
things
some
are
bad
trending
things
the
about
right
you.
way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I kind of agree with you guys. The recent news, like over the weekend and stuff, and like players a little disgruntled with like testing and whatnot, but that's more news coverage, which we don't really do here too much. But I think we're all hoping for the best, and we are all hoping that we get some games. But also, obviously, that it is makes the players are comfortable with going out and performing for us. If the situation and the feeling from the player base is not vibing with that, then everybody will understand if they want to take those extra precautions and protect their families, the close ones, their loved ones, and then we'll regroup for 2021. But we would like to see, as just fans of the game, who the 2020 World Series champion winner will be. And for that, that's going to wrap up episode 10. Reach out to us at our email at shagginballspodcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and give Casey a hashtag true to the blue on Twitter. And yeah, that's everything from us. Say goodbye to the internet, guys.
Go M's.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, guys. We appreciate you all listening and tuning in as always. And we'll come back with episode 11. We remember our baseball cards. We're going to probably set up a structure to tell you guys what we have planned and other fun games that you guys can join in with us, and fun little predictions like how many walks will Tim Anderson have for 2020? How many home runs will Giancarlo Stanton hit? We're just going to come up with things. Who's going to have the most hit by pitches? Random stuff. The most caught stealing. Who knows? Could be anything. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.